One hotly negotiated topic is sub-processor appointments. Oftentimes, the customer, particularly if it's a large enterprise customer, will want a significant amount of control over sub-processors. And if you're representing the customer, typically you'll be pushing for the right to consent to the sub-processor, and you won't want to have really broad rights to object to the sub-processor. On the other hand, if you are representing a provider, having to get consent from the customer to every single new sub-processor can be really laborious and time-consuming. And you may be dealing with a large customer that's either, completely unresponsive when you request their consent, or it takes a lot of time to get through the bureaucracy. So if you're a provider, ideally you would have the customer agree to be notified and have the opportunity to opt out of that use of that sub-processor. There also tends to be a lot of negotiation around the timeline for notifying the customer of a prospective new sub-processor. If you're a provider, you want to think about how much time you want to give to the customer. I like to, have clients that are providers make sure that they're negotiating the same timeline and they're going through the same process with each customer. I think it often makes sense to have a list of sub-processors, add a link on the website and have that incorporated into the deep, and then ask the customer to subscribe to updates to the sub-processor list, and then kind of follow the same practice with all customers. They may need to take the longest lead time if they have a customer that negotiated, 30-day advance notice, whereas others negotiated 14-day advance notice. But it's just a way to kind of simplify this process around sub-processor appointments. Finally, I do see, some negotiations around when a controller can object to a sub-processor. If I'm representing a provider, I often try to limit objections to reasonable grounds relating to privacy or security, which I think is really the spirit of the law here. But sometimes customers that are controllers will want to have a broader right to, deny a sub-processor that's maybe a competitor to the customer. So I do see a bit of back and forth then.